What's good, my YouTube friends and family? Welcome back, and today we're here to review the newest SML movie, Misery. Now, before we get started, I just want to say, as of right now, we just hit 6,000 subscribers today! I honestly cannot believe how happy I am that I was able to hit this milestone within the next 6 months. I honestly can't believe how fast we've gotten here. I really appreciate every single one of y'all, and I love each and every single one of y'all for getting us to this point. I really could not have done this without all your guys' help. Honestly, as long as you guys keep liking my videos, and as long as I'm able to make your guys' day happier, then that's all that matters to me. So, this upcoming weekend, I'm going to be working on the 6,000 subscribers song, and I'm going to be recording the video, and then I'll probably post the video on my actual birthday, October 29th, on Wednesday. So mark your calendars. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting because this is actually a 20-minute SML movie we gotta get ourselves into. So holy crap. So I've already heard good things about this video. People rated it a 10 out of 10 already. Damn. And I'm assuming this is based off of a horror movie. And yeah, with that being said, you guys already know the drill. To make sure you watch my full review from beginning to end, make sure you comment 5 knife emojis. But with that being said, let's get on with the review. So at the beginning of the video, we see Pooby, aka Pablo, aka Chris, driving down the road, and then he swerves out of the way because there was an armadillo out of nowhere in the road, and then he hits a telephone pole, which causes him to break both his legs, and his face is all fucked up, and his arms are injured. And he knocks out, and then some lady, aka Elena, comes into his car, takes him away, and his Cody and Brooklyn Guy puppet, and a file with SML video ideas back to her house so he could recover. So, yeah, she says that I tried to call it the hospital, but when you hit the telephone pole, it knocked down all the cell service, so the phones do not work. And then Pooby's like, why couldn't you just drive me to a hospital? But she's like, well, all the roads have been closed down because of all the armadillos in the road. They're everywhere. So then Pooby complains that his legs hurt really bad. And then Elena gives him some pain pills and a cup of water. And then she actually made a little mess on him while doing so. So she went to go get some napkins to clear it up while he sits and recover. Then we cut back to Marvin, Jeffy, and Rose on the red couch with Jeffy coughing out of nowhere going... Marvin decides to call the doctor to see what's going on with Jeffy. So then, Elena comes back to Pooby with his Cody and Brooklyn Guy puppet playing with them. And he's like, where did you get them? And she's like, oh, I got them out of your car, and along with this folder full of SML video ideas. And he's like, put them back right now. But she's like, but honestly, can I just have a few more minutes with them? I mean, these are the real ones. And she literally looks up at the hole where you put your hand into the puppet. She sniffs them, and she's like, oh, is that Old Spice body wash? And all that extra stuff. She says she knows literally everything about him and his character's favorite iconic lines. So, no. What the hell? And then she's all like, can I just please read through your SML video idea files? And he's like, okay, anything from my biggest fan. And she's like, no, not your biggest fan, your #1 fan. Sorry, I lost my temper there for a second. I'll be right back after I'm done reading these ideas. And he's like, all right, get me the fuck out of here. But he can't move his legs because they were broken during the car crash. So after 30 minutes of calling the doctor, Marvin's wondering why hasn't he shown up yet. So then he decides to call the cops because he thinks something is wrong with him. But has Marvin literally forgotten that he's also the cop? So if you call the cop, Broken Guy's not going to show up as well. It's probably going to be Simmons or the chief police or something like that. So then, after Elena comes back and reads what was in the file for the SML video ideas, she's upset that he wrote an idea of Cody turning straight just for one video. And she's like, no, if Cody turns straight, that'll ruin his entire character. Just like how they did with Joseph the Millionaire. That ruined his character. He's supposed to be poor. Like, I honestly get why people do not like Joseph the Millionaire, but at the same time, you're doing a little bit too much. Like, I know that you're his #1 fan, but you're kind of deriding too much, Elena. Like, this is all I'm seeing from you. Like, boing, 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 boing. Like, over here, meat riding. Hop off his dick. So then, she gets one of those old stoves or things that people use for barbecues, and she's like, you know what? God had me save you for that car accident for a reason. And as she lifts the lid and reveals the Cody puppet, and she says to save Cody's character. So she proceeds to burn the Cody puppet with lighter fluid. And she's like, oh, goodness gracious. And takes the thing out with her. And Cody and Brooke and Pooby, what the hell? I cannot talk. So Pooby's like, alright, we have stunt doubles that look okay, but that was just the original one. So then we cut back to Marvin and the others, and Simmons actually shows up. So yeah, I was right. It was going to be Simmons or the police chief, and they're wondering why Brooklyn guy hasn't come in. So Simmons decides to go and find him. So then we get back to Elena and Pooby, and Elena comes into the room saying that she has a surprise for him, because she called the hospital, and they said that he needs to get some exercise. So Elena pulls out a wheelchair, and Pooby's like, oh, so the phones are working now. And she's like, only one call went through, and they couldn't send an ambulance because with all the armadillos in the road. So she proceeds to put Pooby in a wheelchair, and then she rolls him into the kitchen, or the dining room, whatever it's called. And then she says that she DoorDash some Applebee's because it's Brooklyn guy's favorite. And then he's like, wait, how'd you DoorDash this if all the armadillos are on the road? And she's like, they have drones now. So then they proceed to dine in, and damn, Pooby is really smothering that sriracha ketchup in that fucking Applebee's steak. Like, he's literally smothering it in it. And she's like, oh, you want some sriracha ketchup? And she's like, oh no, I'm extremely allergic to that. Like, if I have any of that, I'll immediately die out. And Pooby's like, you know what would make this dinner even more great? Some candles. And she's like, oh, you're absolutely right. Hold on, let me go and get some. And then while she leaves, Pooby decides to pour in some of the sriracha ketchup in her red wine cup, mixed with her red wine. And then Pooby's like, you know what? I propose a toast to Cody staying gay forever and ever. And then as they click glasses, Elena spills her glass all over the table. And she's like, oh, heavens to Betsy, I'm so sorry I ruined dinner. And Pooby's like, no, that's fine. So then Pooby gets tired and wants to go back to the room to go to bed. So then she wheels him into the bedroom, and she's like, well, before that, Pooby's like, why is there a typewriter in front of me? And she's like, I'm so glad you asked. So I read through all your video ideas, and they're all poo-poo. So I want you to write me 100 SML video ideas. Like, bruh. And she says, quote unquote, I got you the best paper money could buy. And he's distracting her so he can get out. So he's like, nah, this paper won't do. It's too flimsy for me. See, I need special glossy typewriter paper. So she's like, you know what? She gets mad and slams the files on his broken legs, and that makes it hurt for him even more. So she's like, you know what? I'll go into town and get some more paper for you, you big man, or something like that. And she's like, wait, how are you going into town with all the armadillos on the road? And she confesses to him, saying that, I lied. There were no armadillos in the road. The phones are working. You're never leaving this house ever and ever again. Then she proceeds to leave the house to go and get the glossy typewriter paper. So then, Pooby decides to go back into the dining room to grab his Brooklyn guy puppet and his little stick so he can get the fuck out of here. But the front door is locked, so he has to find another way out. So then he tries the front door, but that doesn't work. So then he sees a phone, tries to call 911, but for some reason that doesn't work either. So he has to find another solution. So then, for some reason, Pooby decides to go into the kitchen and try to find a knife. And then as he's doing this, he hears the car coming back in the driveway. So he hurries back into the room, closes the door, and relocks it. And he has a knife with him now, and his Brooklyn Guy puppet. So I'm assuming he's going to try and kill her so he can get out of here. And he is actually able to get back to the room on time without her noticing. So good for Pooby. Good for Pooby. So then, Elena comes back to Pooby, seeing that his face is all pale and everything. He's like, well, of course you did. You didn't give me my fucking pain medicine. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Let's go put you into bed and I'll get you some more Tic Tacs. And he's like, I knew those weren't fucking painkillers earlier. So then, she goes and puts Pooby into bed. And then when she goes to get more painkillers, Pooby pulls out the knife and practices his swinging and puts the knife back in his shirt or something. So then, Elena comes back with a fucking sledgehammer, and she's like, Pooby, you've been a bad birdie. And he's like, oh, what? And she proceeds to say that you were snooping around my house while I was out getting you paper. Your legs must be feeling better. And he's like, nope, they were just in an accident an hour ago. And she's like, I can't risk you leaving me. So she proceeds to break his legs with a sledgehammer. She's like, I love you, while breaking them. And she's like, sweet dreams. And he's like, I fucking hate you! And then, after that, we cut to Simmons finding Pooby or Brookie's car, but he's not in there. So he proceeds to go and check and ask the people in that house if they've seen him or not. So, Elena proceeds to give Pooby some more medicine, and he's like, and they're Tic Tacs again, so how about you come a little closer so you can give them to me? And then he tries to pull out the knife, he says, aha! And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, looking for this? And she's like, of course, like, how the fuck did you know I had a knife with me? So then, we cut to not Pooby, we cut back to Simmons, about to knock on the door. Let's see what happens next. So then, after Elena hears Simmons knocking on the door, she proceeds to get Pooby out of the bed and then into the garage, and she literally tosses him on the garage floor, and he's like, I hate you so much! And he's like, Elena's like, now you stay there, don't move, don't make any noise. So she proceeds to close the door that leads into the garage and lock it. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, this has to be based on a horror movie. I'll explain more at the end. So then, Simmons decides to look around the house to see if anything suspicious. So then, he looks in the bedroom and sees that Pooby's shoes are on the foot of the bed. She's like, oh, well, you see, I'm such a big fan that I like to wear the same shoes as him. So he looks around the house even more, and Pooby makes noises in the garage to get Simmons' attention. So then Simmons finds Pooby on the floor of the garage, telling him we gotta get the hell out of here. But just then, Simmons gets shot in the back by Elena with a gun. Like, what the hell? And she's like, no, I didn't kill him. You killed him by making all that noise. No, so now you and me both must die together. And he's like, no, don't shoot me because I still gotta make the video ideas. I got a Brooklyn Guy video that's really, really good. So then, Elena brings Pooby back into the bedroom with the typewriter, and he's like, I don't even know how to fucking use the typewriter. So then, she comes back into the room with a gun saying, is the video idea ready? And he's like, you know what? How about I just tell you myself? So, he proceeds to tell Elena that the video idea with Brooklyn Guy saying that we tell his whole life story, first when he's a kid, teenager, an adult, and then he goes to space. And then that triggers her off with the space thing. And she's like, well, you know, I have some more notes under the bed. Can you go get those for me? And she's agreeing and looks under the bed for her notes. That he grabs the typewriter and smashes it on her head, killing her. So, no, I say that's a win-win. So then, he's like, Cody's gonna be straight in the next video. Fuck you, bitch. I win. So then he proceeds to crawl out the bed and he falls down. And he's like, ow. So then we go back to the red couch with Marvin and the others. And Brooklyn Guy in his doctor outfit crawls on the floor onto the couch. He's like, hey, did somebody call a doctor? And he's like, what's wrong with you? And he's like, well, this crazy bitch broke my legs. And Marvin's like, you don't have legs. And he's like, no, I did. This crazy bitch kidnapped me and broke my legs. And that's how the video ends. And that's my question is, what is your favorite scary movie? We've already answered this before, but honestly, I actually really enjoyed this video. Even though I've never seen the movie that this was based off of, it was actually pretty good. And I have a feeling I know which movie that they're referencing because I've only seen that happen similar, but that, I cannot talk. I've seen Family Guy use this in a cutaway gag where Brian was in the same situation and Joe Swanson, as a sheriff with his legs working at the time, came to rescue Brian. But then Stewie, dressed up as a lady, which I'm assuming was the lady that Elena dressed up as, shot Joe Swanson in his legs. And he's like, oh, my legs! Now I'm gonna have to spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. And Stewie's like, no, you're not. It shoots him in the head and killing him. Like, bruh. Anyway, honestly, it was pretty good. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to have to give this video an 8.5. I like the plot. It was decent enough. But anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and all that extra stuff. And to confirm if you watched my full review from beginning to end, comment 5 knife emojis. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. And until then, peace out. Also, stay tuned for the 6,000 subscriber song that I'm going to be releasing on my 21st birthday.